Hey everybody, welcome to the Family Fudge and welcome to Subscriber Lunch Sunday. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 4 super tasty and super budget friendly lunch ideas. Believe it or not, all of the lunches I'm sharing today cost just about $1 or less to make. Over the last couple of weeks, I've shared lunch ideas for $3 and under and for $2 and under. And since so many of you guys requested even lower cost lunch ideas, that's exactly what I'm doing today since it is Subscriber Lunch Sunday after all. Now you guys, just like with my previous videos, I went ahead and did the math on these lunches using prices from Walmart since most towns have a Walmart. But of course, if you make these lunches yourself, your final cost might be a little bit different depending on your location and where you shop. So these are just an approximation. And now you guys, with all that being said, let's get on to these super budget-friendly lunches. Okay guys, I'm kicking things off with a lunch I like to call the special. And you guys, the estimated total for this lunch came to just 97 cents. So for this lunch, the first thing I did was prepare the main course. So in our family, to make a special, the first thing you need is a flour tortilla, and I really like to use the 10-inch size tortillas. They're the perfect size for this. And if I can, I like to get the Great Value brand tortillas because the price on these are just about 7 cents each. So definitely budget friendly. So I've added my tortilla to a skillet over medium heat. To my tortilla, I'm going to go ahead and add just 3 tablespoons of shredded cheese. You can use any kind that you prefer, but more often than not, I'll use shredded cheddar for this. The cheese is definitely one of the pricier items in this recipe. And the next thing I'm going to need is a hot dog. Now, of course, you can use whatever hot dogs you prefer. Today, I'm going with the most budget-friendly choice, which comes out to just about 8 cents a hot dog. I'm just going to place the hot dog on the side here so that it can get warmed through. So now I'm going to leave all of this on my skillet until the cheese is melted on the tortilla. I'm going to actually take the hot dog and place it on top of the tortilla with the melted cheese. And then at this point, I'm going to remove it from the skillet. Next, I'm going to need to roll this up, and I'm just tightly wrapping this up. And there you have it, guys. This is what we call the special in our house. And then I'm going to add in a unicorn pick for decoration. This can be served hot or at room temperature, and the final cost on the special is just 50 cents, which actually leaves us quite a lot of wiggle room for the rest of the lunch. Now, when it comes to the fruit for this lunch, I'm going to go ahead and add some of this unsweetened applesauce. Now, you guys, one of the best deals that I've been able to find on applesauce is this big container from Walmart. This only comes to about 5 cents per ounce. I'm just going to add about 2 ounces of this applesauce right in this section. And then in the back section, I'm going to add about 1/3 of a cup of cucumber. And to add a little bit of style to these cucumber slices, I thought it'd be really cute to punch out some star shapes using this vegetable cutter. Next, I'm adding in a bit of a snack, and for this lunch, I decided to go with the good old Cheez-It crackers. Now, you probably could save a little bit of money here by using a generic form of cheese cracker, but since I already have these ones in my pantry, that's what I'm going with today. It's definitely a money saver to use up the things you have first before you go out and buy more stuff. But you guys, when I was at Walmart, I found these coconut caramel cookies, which, if you're familiar with Girl Scout cookies, will probably look very familiar to you. These really are very similar to Girl Scout cookies, but a lot cheaper. In fact, these cookies come to just about 6 cents each. So I'm going to go ahead and add in just 2 cookies so we can stay under budget. And then to complete this lunch, of course, I'm going with water, which is always a healthy and budget-friendly choice. And there you have it, guys. This lunchbox looks so colorful and fun. It's almost hard to believe that the estimated total cost of this lunchbox comes to just 97 cents. Next up, I have a hot lunch to share with you guys, and the estimated total cost for this lunch is right at $1. For this lunch, I started just like with most of my lunches by making the main course first. And for this, I'm going to need a potato. Now, I know I mentioned this in last week's video, but if you're looking for a lower cost meal option, definitely think of potatoes. This potato here is a really good sized potato, yet it only costs about 10 cents, so definitely affordable. I'm gonna turn this potato into some warm and cozy mashed potatoes. These mashed potatoes are seriously simple. All I'm going to do is peel the potato, then dice this potato, then I'm going to add it into a pot with some water, and then I'm going to let these simmer away until they're nice and tender. This does take a little bit of time, but you guys, the smaller you cut your potatoes, the faster they'll be done cooking, so keep that in mind. So once the potatoes are soft, it's time to flavor them up. First, I'm going to add just a little pat of butter, followed by a little splash of milk, and then of course, don't forget the salt and pepper, and then I'm just mashing these up until they're nice and combined. So check it out, you guys, our mashed potatoes are super fluffy, and that one potato made a lot. In fact, I'm only going to be able to fit half of our mashed potatoes into the lunchbox, which is still a good amount of food. And even though the mashed potatoes didn't cost a lot to make, since we're only using half of them in this lunch, makes them even more budget friendly. And I'm not even done with them yet. I have some delicious toppings I want to add. First, I'm adding about 3 ounces of these Tyson natural chicken nuggets. Next up, I'm adding just 1 tablespoon of corn, followed by 1 tablespoon of shredded cheese. So I'm going for a mashed potato bowl here with lots of different flavors and textures. And then I'm going to top it all off with a little bit of barbecue sauce. I'm going to use this little packet of barbecue sauce that we had left over from some takeout. I'm just going to drizzle a little bit right on the top. You guys, this is smelling so good. This thermos is absolutely full of these mashed potatoes. And then the very last thing I'm adding on top is just a few little pieces of green onion, like literally half a cent's worth of onions here. No, I kid you not, you guys, these mashed potatoes with that chicken in there and the barbecue sauce on top are smelling so good. This thermos is absolutely packed. With all of the ingredients in this mashed potato bowl, the price comes to just 66 cents. That is awesome. Now for the fruit in this lunch, I'm going to go ahead and add just a couple of tablespoons of blueberries. Blueberries definitely aren't the cheapest fruit option here, so that's why I'm just adding in 2 tablespoons, which is still a good amount of blueberries. And then for the vegetable, I'm going to go with the good old carrots. Definitely one of the cheaper options for veggies. My kids love them. And of course, I love to cut them in different shapes just to make them a little bit more fun and interesting in the lunchbox. For the treat, something extra special but still really budget friendly, I found these chocolate peanut butter wafer bars at Walmart, and this entire box was only 92 cents, and there's actually 12 bars in here. So if I just put 1 of these bars in the lunch, we will still be within our budget. For the snack, I'm adding in just a couple tablespoons of these whole grain goldfish crackers. Okay guys, the grand estimated total for this lunch comes to exactly $1. But if you wanted to add a budget-friendly drink that wasn't water, I'd recommend making some flavored water. Today I'm mixing up some lemonade, which makes this entire bottle comes to just 8 cents. Okay guys, now that brings us to our next lunch, which is another one that comes in with an estimated total cost of right at $1. And you guys, this lunch would be one that even Elvis would be a fan of, and that's probably because of the main course. For this lunch, I'm going to start by making kind of an unusual sandwich. For this, I'm using 2 slices of just regular bread. 2 slices come out to about 7 cents, so not too bad. And then to this, I'm going to be adding just 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. Now usually when I buy my peanut butter, I actually get the big jars at Costco, and because I'm sort of buying the peanut butter in bulk, I definitely get a better price per ounce that way. So that's a good tip if you're trying to save some money. Try to buy it in bulk, you might find a better price. Now to my peanut butter, I'm not adding any jelly. Instead, I'm going to be adding a banana. Well, half of a banana to be exact. Believe it or not, right now in my house, I just have 2 banana choices. One is really ripe and the other one is really green. So I think I'm gonna have to go with this guy. I think this guy's gonna taste a little bit better. Now, like I said, this is only going to take half of the banana. I'm just slicing it and laying it directly onto the sandwich. Then I can add the other piece of bread on top. Now, definitely this sandwich would be delicious just as is, but I'm not quite done here. I'm going to take this sandwich and I'm going to grill it in my panini press. So this is a grilled peanut butter and banana sandwich. And I'm just gonna grill this lightly. I don't want it too dark. I just want it nice and crispy on the outside. Oh yes, and that peanut butter gets nice and warm and gooey. It is so good. Now to get this sandwich to fit nicely in the lunchbox, I went ahead and cut it into thirds. And check it out, you guys, it looks so cool. Now to keep this sandwich together, I'm also gonna add in a little pick. This little heart-shaped one should do the trick. And since this is just 3 ingredients with the bread, the peanut butter, and half a banana, the total cost just for the sandwich comes to 32 cents. Now because this sandwich already has some fruit in it with the banana, I'm not going to be adding any more fruit into today's lunch, but I am going to go ahead and add in some carrots. And to make these carrots just a little bit more interesting, I'm going to cut them into some cute little fish shapes. And then of course, to go along with the carrots, I'm also including just a little tiny bit of ranch. This is just about a teaspoon, maybe even less. This amount of ranch only comes to about 10 cents or less, so it's not too bad. Next, I'm going to add in a snack. For this lunch, I'm going with these pretzel sticks. These are the Great Value brand, so they're really very inexpensive. In fact, I can add a good handful of these pretzels for just about 24 cents. Next up, I'm also adding in a string cheese for about 23 to 25 cents a piece. And you know, I think to get this to fit better into the lunchbox, I will go ahead and just cut it up and add a giraffe pick just for fun. And then last but not least, I have just enough room in the lunchbox and in my budget for a sweet treat. Today, I'm adding just one of these sprinkle donut holes. I got these at Walmart, so they were pretty inexpensive. I'd say just one of these donut holes probably cost less than 5 cents. For this lunch, I'm also adding in some water for the drink. And then you guys, that is everything. Like I said, the grand total for this lunch is just at $1. Okay guys, so that brings me to my last lunch idea for this video. This lunch comes in at just 87 cents. And I feel like if you're talking about low budget meals, it's hard not to talk about ramen, right? I know it's on a lot of people's list if they're looking for a budget-friendly meal, but sometimes instant ramen can have a bad reputation. But trust me, I'm actually going to fix up this ramen so that it tastes amazing. Now, if you search on the internet ways to doctor up ramen, you'll actually find lots of different recipes, but I don't really like any of them, so I've come up with my own recipe that you guys should definitely try because it's really so good and affordable. So to make this ramen, I'm going to start with 2 cups of water, just like you would with any ramen, but here's where it gets a little bit different. I'm going to take just 1 clove of garlic. This is fresh garlic, and I'm going to very carefully grate just half of this garlic clove directly into the water. The water's not even boiling yet, and because I'm adding it into my pot right now, it's gonna have plenty of time to get nice and mild, and it won't be like a very strong, overpowering garlic taste. Next, I'm going to be adding in just a splash of soy sauce. And this is actually a low sodium soy sauce because I definitely don't want this to be too salty. So now I'm just going to whisk this all together. It is already smelling so good. And then once this starts boiling, I know it's time to add in the ramen. Now you guys, at this point, you gotta move quick. Things happen really fast here. These noodles only take about 3 minutes until they're done. I like to break them up as they're cooking. And then you guys, when there's still 1 more minute of cooking time, I have a couple more things I like to add. I'm going to add in the seasoning pack. I'm also going to be adding in 1 egg. Now I know that might sound weird to some of you guys, but trust me, it's really good. And I'm just cracking this egg directly into the hot soup. And then right away, I'm going to start stirring this egg around kind of vigorously for about 1 minute. That way I'm left with little pieces of egg ribbons in throughout my soup and not like scrambled eggs in my soup, if you know what I mean. So once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the heat. And then the very last thing I'm going to be adding into the soup is just a tablespoon or so of some chopped green onion. And there you have it, guys. This soup looks and smells so good. Now, believe it or not, this entire pot of soup comes in at just 39 cents. But this pot also makes 2 servings of soup. So that means I can fill up this entire thermos section of the lunchbox for just about 20 cents, you guys. That is so cheap, but it is still super tasty. And just look how much soup I have left. Definitely enough for 2 lunches. So now that the soup is done, I'm going to move on to the fruit. And for this lunch, I'm going to add in 2 little tiny mandarin oranges. I definitely like to buy these when they're on sale. These ones are coming in at just about 15 cents a piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put them right into the lunchbox. And then just for fun, I am going to go ahead and dress them up with some googly eye picks. I think I'm going to go with a pair of angry eyes and a pair of heart eyes. I think that's an interesting combination. And then for the vegetable in this lunch, I'm going to add in just a few pieces of broccoli. I really can only fit a few in this lunch box anyway. This amount of broccoli only comes to about 10 cents. Definitely one of the more affordable vegetable options for sure. Now in this back section, I'm also going to be adding in a snack and a treat. For the snack, I thought it would be really fun to add in some of these potato and lentil spirals from Trader Joe's. These are a little bit on the pricier side, but since our soup was so inexpensive, there's definitely room in the budget for these. And then for the special treat today, I'm going to be adding in some gummy worms. Kind of an unexpected treat for a lunch, but you guys, these gummy worms are actually really good. They're made with real fruit juice, and each little gummy worm is just about 1.5 cents, so definitely budget friendly to just add a couple. So now with everything you see here, the total cost for this lunch is just 87 cents. Definitely the least expensive out of all the lunches today. Now you guys, I'm actually learning a lot by going through and pricing out all of these lunch items. It's really made me realize how expensive some items are. Like, I was thinking about adding one of these Honest Kids juice pouches for this lunch, but when I did the math on these, the price per pouch was almost 40 cents. And since I was trying to keep this lunch at $1 or less, 40 cents for the drink was just not gonna cut it. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you did, and hit that red subscribe button if you're new, because I share lots and lots of lunch ideas on this channel. So if you're a big fan, definitely subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.